Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm really excited to show you a very classic Puerto Rican recipe called piononos. Now, pionono is essentially a sweet plantain pinwheel that is lightly fried, stuffed with a delicious picadillo, topped with cheese, and then baked in the oven until that cheese is bubbly and delicious. So let's get into it. All right, let's get started. I have here a deep pan. It is set over medium heat and I let it get nice and hot, and I can always tell it's ready if I splash a couple of drops of water and the water starts to evaporate immediately. That's how I know it's ready. So I'm gonna add a good generous amount of olive oil, and I'm adding a good amount of olive oil because I'll be using 93% lean ground turkey. You can use any kind of ground meat you like, but my favorite is ground turkey. So I'm gonna add a little bit of chopped white sweet onion and some green pepper. I wanna say this is about a quarter cup of each. You can add as much or as little as you like. If you wanna switch up what kind of peppers you use, you can do that as well. The good thing about picadillo, because this is what I'm making, by the way, the good thing about picadillo is you can kind of play around with the veggies and the herbs a little bit, just as long as the basics are there, like the sofrito and certain spices. You can play around with it however you like. So I'm going to start off by sauteing my veggies here until they're nice and fragrant. And once they're nice and sauteed, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of my fresh homemade sofrito. Mixing as we go. And then I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce. This tomato sauce is really going to enhance the flavor of the picadillo. I'm gonna add what I had left of pimientos plus its liquid, because I like the flavor of the liquid. That's about a teaspoon. Add my small bay leaf in there. The bay leaf adds a really nice flavor as well. 1 packet of sazon, you can use any brand you like, and 1 beef bouillon. I believe I'm using El Maggi. I think that's how you say it, El Maggi brand. Just gonna crush that up with my hands and throw it in there. And a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. I'm using my favorite, Lori's Todo Casero seasoning. Just gonna add a little bit, about, I don't know, like about a quarter of a teaspoon or so, because I added sazon plus the beef bouillon and the tomato sauce has salt, so I'm just trying to be careful. Just flavoring as I go. And then about 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. A little bit of black pepper. And then this is the ground turkey that I'll be using. This is the Jenny O 93% lean ground turkey. Again, you can use any kind of ground meat. Most commonly used is ground beef, but you can also use ground pork and even some good ground chicken. I'm just gonna plop my ground turkey right in there. You may think this is a little weird because usually when you see people cooking up ground meat, they tend to brown it first before adding their seasonings. But when it comes to picadillo, you are cooking the ground meat along with the ingredients. Like it's kind of like a stewed ground meat. And using my wooden spoon, I'm gonna give it a really good chop. And just mincing it as I go. And after I have chopped it up and mixed it up really well, I'm gonna add a little touch of olive oil towards the end, just to make sure that my picadillo is nice and moist, because especially since I'm using ground turkey, which can be a little dry. So Afterwards, I'm going to keep the heat over medium. I'm gonna cover my pot and I'm gonna let it cook for about 20 minutes or so. And cooking it with the lid on is going to help release all of that moisture, all of the juices, and it's gonna come together really nicely. And I'm gonna check on my picadillo after about 5 minutes. As you can see, the juices have released very nicely because I have been cooking this with the lid on and it creates steam. So despite me using a pretty leanish turkey, this is very moist. This is good. This is what we want. We do not want dry picadillo. Now, if you are using a fattier cut of meat, I suggest cooking this at a slightly higher temperature just so that those juices can dry out a little bit, because although you want a moist pionono, you do not want it to be super greasy and heavy and wet. So I suggest cooking it at a slightly higher temperature just so that it can dry out a little bit. Even cooking it with the lid off may help as well. Again, that's only if your cut of ground meat is very fatty. So yeah, so I'm just gonna give this a really good mix, and I'm gonna continue cooking it at about medium-low heat for about 15 more minutes until most of the liquid has evaporated, but not completely. And my picadillo is all done. It came out amazing and it tastes incredible. So now that it's done, I'm gonna set it to the side and I'm gonna start working on frying up my plátanos. All right, now it's time to prepare and fry up my sweet plantains. I'm gonna make a small batch of piononos, so I'm only using 2 slightly large plátanos. And watch me go between saying plátanos and plantains all throughout this video. Very Spanglish. Okay, so I'm gonna chop up the ends and then I'm going to carefully make a cut along the backside of the plantain and gently peel off the banana peel. Oh my God, did I say banana peel? The plátano peel. Wow, how dare I? These are not bananas. These are plátanos. Okay. So now I'm gonna very carefully slice up my plátano, and I'm gonna try to slice them up as thinly as possible. As you can see, that one broke a little bit, but it's okay because nobody's gonna know once they're done. And I'm gonna try to slice them up into quarters. So this is a pretty thick plantain, so I think I can get 4 slices out of this one, probably out of both of them. It doesn't have to be perfect because, again, no one's going to be able to notice once they're rolled up and stuffed with meat, but I'm going to try to get it as uniform and as even as possible. All right, now that both of my plantains are nice and sliced up, I'm gonna fry up the pieces and I'm gonna do it in batches. You definitely do not wanna overcrowd your pan, and be sure to add them in very gently because ripe plantains are very soft and they're very prone to breaking. All right, so I was able to get 3 in there. And I'm gonna fry them for about 5 minutes on each side or until they're nice and golden brown. All right, my plantains are done, and now it's time for the fun part. Making piononos is so easy. It's so easy. All you need is a muffin tin, and all you're gonna do, you're gonna get 1 slice of plátano, and you're gonna gently roll it up in the muffin tin. And the good thing is, if you have some broken pieces, all you gotta do is just add them together. And since they're kind of smushy, you just press them like so, and nobody's gonna know. And as you can see, you want to make sure that the plantain slices are pretty thin. That way you can create a hole in the center because you want to make sure that the hole is big enough to hold the picadillo. All right, now I am done and my piononos are nice and ready. Now, I'm technically able to get 8 of these with 2 thick plantains. However, I set a plantain to the side because my daughter likes to enjoy it with plain white rice. So you can get about 8 of these with 2 thick plantains. And then using a basting brush, I'm gonna add a little bit of egg in the center. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna be the glue that keeps the pionono together, so that after you bake it and you remove it from the muffin tin, the picadillo doesn't fall out at the bottom of the pionono. All right, and now it is time to stuff our piononos with that delicious turkey picadillo. Make sure you remove the bay leaf. You don't want that in there. I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time. And I'm pressing that in so it's nice and tightly packed. These are basically a huge one-up from stuffed peppers. If you had a choice between stuffed peppers or these, which one are you gonna choose? I'm gonna choose these because they're much tastier. No offense to peppers because I do love vegetables, but yeah, I prefer these any day. And I still had a little bit of picadillo left over. So I say with 1 pound of ground turkey, you can probably use about 4 or 5 thick plantains. So just keep that in mind if you make it for yourself and you want to make more. And then with that same egg wash and basting brush, I'm gonna brush the top of each pionono with egg, again, because this is the glue that's going to hold everything together. And then after I'm done brushing them with the egg wash, I'm gonna add a few thin slices of Monterey Jack cheese on top of each one. You can use any cheese you like. If you want to use sharp cheddar, Colby Jack, whatever you like, you can use. And I highly suggest cutting up your own cheese or grating your own cheese. Do not buy pre-shredded cheese because it has a lot of additives that prevent the cheese from melting nicely. And after I've added my cheese, for some color, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley flakes and oregano flakes. And now these are gonna go in the oven for about 15 minutes at 350 degrees. My piononos are done and they came out incredible. And a little fun fact, this is actually my very first time ever making piononos. Yes, I've always known how to make them. I just never actually did them. So making this video for you guys was a lot of fun. And that is all for today's video. I had so much fun making this recipe for you guys today. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you're gonna try it And if you do make it, please let me know how you like it. I love feedback from you guys. It always makes my day. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel a ton. And hit that notification bell because a new video will be out every week. Until next time.